This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning, everyone. I think all of you are there. Almost 100 participants joined the meeting. So today's topic will be on communication for health education. So communication means just passing the information from one person to another or from one person to many people, right? So our communication is mainly based on health education. So how we have to reach the people through different channels so that they can modify their behavior. So ultimate goal of communication for health education is to bring about the change in the desired direction. So whatever change in behavior we are expecting in that direction, we want to change the people. So that is the goal. So ultimate goal is to bring about the change in the desired direction, and the objectives of this is there are different types like cognitive. That means we want to improve the knowledge, increase in the knowledge. So suppose if you do, suppose for corona, before that we don't know the signs and symptoms of the disease. So majority of the people, they don't know about the signs and symptoms of the people as the symptoms of the disease. So in that scenario, what we have to do is we have to improve the cognitive domain of the people. That means we have to increase the knowledge of the people. So about the corona signs and symptoms like rise in temperature, fever, cold, cough, breathlessness. So like that you give, suppose if they find out any symptoms, they will come to the hospital for treatment. Then affective, that means changing existing pattern of behavior and attitude. So whatever is there, like now previously what we are doing, if you are having fever or cold and cough or some breathlessness is there, we are going to some medical shops and bringing treatment, taking the treatment from them. So that is not the exact way how the people have to behave. So what they have to do is, now in this scenario, what they have to do is, if they are having any fever or breathlessness, cough, cold, or vomitings or diarrhea, whatever it may be, they have to approach the medical personnel who are authorized to treat the diseases. So they have to approach. They should not go to the medical shops and bring the tablets, whatever they want. But what they have to do is they have to change their behavior. In this scenario, what I am talking is particularly in this corona season, what they have to do is they have to go to the doctor, let them test, let them explain the signs and symptoms to the doctor, do the necessary investigations, and start the exact treatment for that. So that should be the change. Whatever communication we are giving is to change the behavior and attitude of the people. So previously what they are doing is they are going directly to the medical shops, so bringing the tablets, whatever that fellow gives, or whatever they know, with their knowledge they are taking the tablets. So now in this corona season, what we are doing, what we want to do is, if at all the people are having any sort of symptoms like fever, cough, cold, breathlessness or abdominal pain, vomitings, diarrhea, loss of smell or taste. So then they have to immediately rush to the hospital and approach the authenticated doctor and take the exact treatment. So that's what we are that's what we are explaining the people. So that they can change their behavior and approach the suitable doctor as early as possible. And then psychomotor means acquiring new skills. So whatever the new skills we are giving, they have to acquire. That means, simple example I use for diarrhea, we are asking them to prepare a oral dehydration solution. So how to mix it, how much water they have to take, how much salt they have to take, how much sugar they have to take, so that they can mix it proper thoroughly and they can give that to the people properly. So that means acquiring new skills. So whatever skills we teach them, let them know the skills, perform the skills properly. That is the psychomotor domain. So these are the main things. Whatever we do in communication for health education, these are the three changes we are expecting. That is, number one is cognitive. Cognitive means increasing the knowledge, increase in knowledge of that particular person or the group of people. Or affective means bring about the change in the behavior and attitude of the people. And third one is psychomotor, so improving the skills of the people, improving the skills, acquiring new skills, or improving the skills of the people. So that is, these are the three domains which we are going to change in the behavior of the people. You can see the communication process. It involves a sender will be there. So person who want to send the message into the society. So he will prepare the message and then he will choose a particular channel. So he can change. It may be interpersonal communication, that is person to person, or may through internet, or may through pamphlets, or may through videos, or maybe through YouTube, or maybe through any other channel, whatever channel is needed. Suppose if it is only one person, if he want to send the message, so interpersonal communication, face-to-face interaction is a better one. Suppose he want to interact with so many people, so he can choose any channel. He can choose any choice. He can through, it may be through the books, or it may be through the pamphlets, or it may be through the signboards, or it may be through the YouTube channels, or it may be through the internet, or it may be through questionnaire. So whatever may be the channel, he can choose by his choice. And then receiver. So receiver is nothing but the audience. Receiver is nothing but the audience. So audience. So before sending the message, please remember, before sending the message to the audience, you must know who are your audience. What is your message? What is your message? And who are your audience? Whether suppose if you teach if you teach about the anatomy, if you teach about the anatomy of the human body to the villagers, they can't understand anything. They will say that it is boring and it is out of their box, and they will go away. They are not interested. Similarly, if you take the anatomy of human for the first year students, because they are in the first MBBS, so they are ready to learn about the human body, so they will show some interest. So before selecting the message, select your audience. Who are your audience? Whether this message will fit to them or not, you think in the term and decide the message properly. So it depends upon the audience. So awareness, interest, evaluation, and adoption. So audience, what he will do? So if you explain about the sanitization or mask, or about how to keep the mask, or about the social distancing to a particular audience, so it depends. Awareness will increase in the audience, and it creates a sort of interest among the audience, and he will try to evaluate whether I am doing the procedure or not, whether I am wearing the mask properly, whether I am sanitizing myself properly or not, whether I am maintaining the social distance or not. So he will try to evaluate by himself. Suppose if he is not maintaining social distance, automatically what he will do, because of your teachings or because of your communication about the social distancing, he will try to maintain the social distancing. That means there is change in the behavior of the people. Suppose if you don't know how to sanitize the hands, if you explain him, if you show him how to sanitize the hands, definitely he will try to modify his behavior, and he will learn the new skills. And he will try to sanitize his hands. So receiver. So whatever message you are selecting, so based on that message, you have to select your audience. Then only it will be interesting to them. They will listen. They will interest will be created, and they will evaluate by themselves, and they will try to adopt the procedure whatever you are explaining to them. So sender, what he has to do? He has to create a message, and for that message he has to choose the specific audience. Then he has to select the proper channel, and then he has to send it. Suppose if a surgery, if I explain the surgery, suppose I am telling about the appendicectomy verbally, without any demonstration or without any YouTube or any other direct demonstration is not there. If I explain orally, you will not understand anything, because it needs demonstration. So if that appendicectomy procedure is demonstrated in front of you, definitely majority of the people will be interested, and they will learn the new skills. Suppose if I explain it orally that this is the procedure, first step, second step, third step, like that, nobody will be interested, and moreover they will get confused. So that's why selecting the channel, selecting the proper way of communication or channel for communication is also one of the best thing. And finally, what we do is communication process. From the audience, we will take the feedback. So whether the message sent was accepted by the people, whether they are interested, whether they are ready to change their behavior, whether they are ready to adopt the message. So like that, we will get the feedback from the audience. And you can see the sender here, his objectives must be very clear, and this audience must be very clear. Suppose if I am teaching, so if I am teaching for the 7th semester students, so my audience are very clear because your exam going, community medicine exam will be there, and you are interested. At least a few people will show some interest to study this subject, so that their exams will be there. So that's why. So topic, my objective is very clear, and my audience are 150 batch, because they are exam going, they have to study, and they will definitely do it. And my message, the method which I am choosing, and channels of communication, what channels, because of this corona season it is not possible to interact with you in a lecture method, so we are going by this online classes, and professional abilities and limitations. So we have to keep in mind the professional abilities, what are the professional abilities we are having, and what are our limitations, so here if you see, I am taking the class online. It is not possible to interact each and everyone. I can't see the 150 students, whether you are listening or not, whether you are sleeping, playing with your friends, or chit chatting with your friends. I don't know. You might have opened your cell phone and kept that aside. I don't know all this. So these are all the limitations. You are listening, or you are able to understand it or not. I don't know, because these are the limitations through this channel. So every channel or every method is having its own advantages and disadvantages. So based on the scenario, because it is a scenario of corona, it is not possible to come all of you in one. We cannot meet at one place and discuss about this topic. So the best method for this scenario is the online classes, where you can sit in your house through your cell phones. You can listen whatever is happening, so that it will be safe for you and for me also. So that's why for this scenario, this is the best method, or this is the best channel of communication. Then see the message. So message must be very meaningful. So if you make it complicated, if you send a complicated message into the society, people cannot understand. So it should be as simple as possible, so that they can understand it properly, and they can understand it, and they can evaluate by themselves, and they can adopt the message. So that's why you have to send the message in a meaningful manner, and it should be as simple as possible, so that everybody can understand the message, evaluate by themselves, and adopt the message whatever you have sent into the society. And it should be based on felt needs. So in this corona season, if you explain about the risk factors for diabetes, risk factors for hypertension, nobody will listen. So if you explain them about the corona preventive measures, like social distancing, sanitization, using of mask. So if you explain about this, so in this scenario, people will definitely accept this. But because the situation is like that outside, people are feared of corona. There is a need is there. They want to. There is a felt need is there. They want to know how to protect themselves from the coronavirus. How to protect themselves, they want to know. That is the felt need of the society right now. So in this scenario, if you explain them that using mask regularly, and then doing sanitization regularly, and then maintaining social distance, you can protect by yourself from the coronavirus infection. If you explain about this, what are the different types of masks available in the society, and different types of sanitizers, and social distancing, how to maintain it, all those things, if you explain them properly, definitely people are eagerly waiting, that because that is the felt need in the society right now. So if you send the message on coronavirus prevention and control, definitely people will accept it, and people will understand it, and people will try to follow this. So it is based on felt needs of the society. You have to plan the messages, and it should be very clear and understandable. I told you, whatever message you are sending in the society, it should be very, very clear. It should be very particular, very clear, and it should be understandable. That means each and every individual must be able to understand what message you are sending into the society. Then only they will understand it properly. And they will practice it properly, and they protect themselves from the coronavirus, and it should be specific and accurate. Message should be specific and accurate and timely and adequate. So timely, that means this is the right time where the people are eagerly waiting for your messages regarding corona prevention and how to improve their immunity. What are the drugs they have to take to improve their immunity, or what nutrition they have to consume so that they can improve their immunity, so that they can protect themselves from the coronavirus. So the timely and adequate information to the society is needed regarding corona is needed at this particular point of time. So definitely, if you send this message regarding immunity boosters, regarding prevention and control of coronavirus, if you send the message into the society at this particular point of time, definitely people are going to listen it, and people will practice it, and they can protect themselves from the coronavirus, right? Fitting an audience. So the audience throughout the world right now, they are facing problem with corona. So if you explain anything, explain any prevention and control, or any immunity boosters, or prevention and control of corona, definitely they are interested. They will listen and they will practice whatever you say. It should be fitting to the audience. So entire world is ready. Entire world is your audience. You can explain anything. You can take up any method, any channel, and you can send the message to the audience. It should be interesting, culturally and socially appropriate. Not only it is suitable for medical fraternity only, it should be culturally and socially appropriate. So socially, if you explain them based on their social needs, definitely people will accept that message. Then you can see the different channels, that is interpersonal communication, which is the best method of communication, because where you can take the feedback immediately. That means face-to-face interaction. This is because you can persuade that individual, and you can change the behavior of the individual. That is interpersonal communication. It is nothing but face-to-face communication. It is just like interview, face-to-face interaction. You can ask questions. They will, if at all they have any doubt, they can straight away ask you, and you can make them understand their doubts properly. You can clear their doubts, and you can take the feedback of your interview, and everything will be immediate. Feedback will be immediate, changing the behavior will be immediate, and everything. So that's the interpersonal communication is the best method of communication, so that you can change the behavior and attitude of the people. But it is not possible to interact with each and everyone, because we are our Indian population is almost 130 crores. Suppose if you want to say about the prevention and control of corona to 130 people, if you want to interact and if you go for interpersonal communication, it is not possible. So to interact with the 130 crore population, it is not possible. Or at least you take the Andhra Pradesh population, that is almost 5 crores, 5 to 6 crores population is there in Andhra Pradesh. It is not possible to visit each and every individual, interact with them, and explain about the corona prevention and control. So that's why what we have to do is we have to go for another channels. We have to go for other methods or other channels of communication, that is mass media. You can take papers, posters, TV, video, YouTubes, or whatever internet related media is there. You can send through the mass. You can reach millions of people very easily. And in some areas you can say traditional or folk media like different dramas, or through burra katha. So in villages there is a burra katha is there. Dramas are there. Through dramas also you can send the message into the society. So these are the different channels of communication, that is through interpersonal, that is face-to-face interaction, where feedback will be immediate, and you can know the feelings of the person straight away, and you can clear all the doubts, and you can modify the behavior of the individual then and there only. But it is not possible to meet each and every individual and explain about the prevention and control of corona. That's why we need to have other methods of communication, that is mass media, where you can meet millions of people, where you can send the message to the millions of people. It may be audio visual, it may be YouTube channels, or it may be through posters, or it may be through pamphlets, through books, through media, or whatever it may be. So you can reach millions of people with the help of mass media. And in some areas, some rural areas, there are different traditional or folk methods are there. like folk dance is there. With the help of that, you can send the message into the society, or dramas through by playing a drama on the prevention and control of corona. You can have you can nicely design a drama and exhibit in front of the audience, so that audience can understand the importance of mask, importance of sanitization, importance of social distancing. All these things you can make it in a drama type, and you can exhibit in front of the people, so that people can see it, understand the importance, so that is a different method, different channel of communication. So in channels of communication, we are having interpersonal communication, mass media communication, traditional or folk media, and then going to receiver, that is audience. So audience are the receivers. So I told you, select your message. Based on the message, you select your audience. Suppose if you are giving a skill development program, or if you are giving a lecture on IUDs, so postnatal mothers are the audience. You can take antenatal mothers as well as the postnatal mothers. Postnatal mothers as your audience, and ask them and explain them about the IUDs, because they are very much interested in that. That is the felt need of the antenatal as well as postnatal mothers. So they will listen carefully. They will try to evaluate by themselves, and they will try to adopt whatever you are saying. They will try to adopt it. So your message will have some meaning in that. Suppose if you send that message to other school going children or somebody, they are not interested in that. They are not interested in IUD, school going children. So for school going children, about the nutrition, games and sports, or about physical activity, if you explain them, they may be interested. So for antenatal as well as postnatal mothers, it is the best is explain them about the contraceptives, IUDs or contraception, different types of contraceptives. They will be ready to accept it. They will ready to accept it. So that is the felt need of that. So based on the audience, based on the message, you have to select your audience and see that, and you have to select the proper channel and send the message to the audience. You can see there are different types of communication. That is one-way communication. One-way communication, that is didactic method. That is nothing but a lecture method, like I am giving lecture to you and you are listening. There is no communication between you and me. You are not asking any questions, and we don't have proper time. We are not asking, you are not asking any questions. There is no interaction between the presenter and the audience. That is one-way communication. And then two-way communication, it is the best method. Two-way communication, where the audience and the presenter both will interact each other. They will share their knowledge. He will try to resolve the doubts of the audience, then and there itself. As a result of that, the audience will show more interest, because they are also participating in the topic. They will show more interest, and as a result of that, their doubts will be clarified there and then itself. As a result of that, they will try to follow whatever message you are giving. They will definitely adopt that message. And then verbal communication, that is oral communication. Then non-verbal communication. So non-verbal means you are not talking, and with your gestures and postures, with the help of your gestures and postures, you are sending the message into society. That is called as non-verbal communication. Then formal and informal communication, visual communication, telecommunication, and internet. So these are the different types of communications which are available right now. That is one-way communication, two-way communication, that is between the two persons, between the one to many, where interaction will be there, the doubts will be cleared then and there. And then verbal communication, that is oral communication. And then non-verbal communication, where the person will not talk anything, only with the help of the gestures or the postures, he will try to communicate the message to the audience. Non-verbal communication, that means person will not talk anything. He will send the message through his postures and gestures to the audience. That is called non-verbal communication. And then formal and informal communication, visual communication, telecommunication and internet. So formal and informal means, suppose if it comes the information authentically. Suppose government of Andhra Pradesh has given that there will be 144 section from 7 o'clock to till morning 7 o'clock. That is a formal information, but because they have given authenticatedly, it is given by the government of Andhra Pradesh, so everybody has to follow it. Informal communication means some people will say that there is no curfew and you can go out whenever you want. You can have parties by 5 to 10 friends, and you can sit and you can do whatever you want. So they will say there is no curfew. So that is the informal communication. Where the authentication is not there, that is called as informal. Where authentication is there, that is called as formal communication. Visual communication and telecommunication and internet. So these are the types of communications which are existing right now. And what are the barriers for communication? So if you want to send the information to other person, there are a lot of obstacles are there. So you have to overcome all the obstacles and see that your message must reach the audience, so that you can change the behavior and attitude of that particular society. You can see physiological barriers. Suppose if you are measuring BP, and if you are having if you are not able to hear properly, automatically what will happen? So you will not hear the protocol sounds, and your diagnosis will go wrong. So physiological barriers. So if you are, suppose the patient is deaf and dumb. So if you are explaining him whatever you know about a particular topic, he will not understand. Anything. So these are the physiological barriers. And then psychological barriers. Are there. Environmental barriers, like this, whenever we are speaking, there will be a lot of sound will be there. Environmental pollution, environmental sounds will be there. So that will prevent the transmission of the sound from one place to another place, so that we cannot send the message to the other persons. And cultural. So different cultures, like you can see, suppose if you give a lecture in English for the illiterate population in a village, they cannot understand because they are illiterate. So whenever you are choosing your audience as the village people, so think that there will be literate people will be there and illiterate. Majority will be illiterate. So in that scenario, what you do is better is you speak that message in the local language. You give that message in the local language, so that majority of the people can understand it. Can understand it properly, can understand the message properly, and they will try to modify their behavior. So there are different barriers are there. Environmental barriers, cultural barriers, psychological, physiological barriers are there. You have to overcome all these barriers, so that your information can reach the audience in right time, right place, to the right people. Definitely they will modify their behaviors. So that is, you see the physiological difficulties in hearing and expression. Suppose if you are having a hearing difficulty, it is not possible. Suppose that patient is saying something and you want to explain, because you are not able to hear properly, and you will not understand what the patient is saying. So this physiological barrier you have to overcome and listen properly. Try to rectify the physiological things and try to explain them properly. Then psychological, so saying emotional disturbances, neurosis, levels of intelligence. So levels of intelligence will be different from one person to another person, and neurosis, emotional disturbances will be there. So you have to overcome all these psychological problems. So you can see environmental problems like noise, invisibility, congestion, all these problems will be there. And if you look at the cultural factors, there may be illiteracy, customs, beliefs, religion, attitudes, language variations. So there will be different language variations there. Rayalaseema, they will speak in another slang of Telugu, which is very difficult for the coastal as well as the coastal people to understand. Whereas in coastal areas, it is somewhat different. Whereas if you go to that Srikakulam and Vizianagaram, that is different. So language variations will be there, and attitudes, religions. So different religions will have different beliefs. Different religions will have different beliefs. So to overcome that belief is very, very important. to overcome that beliefs are very important. Different religions, you have to explain them properly, understand them properly. Then you have to give the health education to them. Then only they will try to modify their behaviors. If you look at the health communication, so functions of health communication, that is information. It should be easily accessible, should provide factual and balanced health information. So whenever you are giving health information to the society, the information must be very accessible, easily accessible, and should provide factual and balanced health information. So you have to give the facts to the society. You have to give facts to the society. We cannot do one research and say that this is correct. It may be applicable to your general population where you have done that research, but you cannot generalize that research to the entire society or entire district or entire state. So whatever the facts you are sending into the society, you have to study them properly with scientific evidence. You have to send the information to the society. So the facts must be sent into the society. It should be balanced health information. Health information must be very much balanced. And education can bring about change in the lifestyles and risk factors of disease. So whatever education you are giving, definitely it will bring about the changes in the lifestyles and risk factors of the disease. Motivation. So motivation is very, very important. It is a power that drives a person from within to act. So there will be different stages in motivation. That is interest. Suppose if you explain about the prevention and control of corona, so people will be interested because that is the right now, that is the scenario where the people are eagerly waiting for information about the information about corona. So if you explain about the prevention and control of corona, it will create an interest among the society. They will try to evaluate. It creates an interest. If interest is created, automatically what they will do, they will try to evaluate whether I am using the mask properly, whether I am doing the sanitization properly, whether I am maintaining the social distance properly or not. They will try to evaluate. Then if they think that they are not using the mask in a proper method, if they are not sanitizing their hands properly, they are not maintaining the social distance, they will try to evaluate by themselves and they will try to modify their behavior. And finally, they will think that from right now onwards, because I am having the knowledge about the prevention and control of corona, it is better. So he will decide. So decision making. He will make his own decision and he will try to follow all the preventive measures properly. So motivation, there are three different stages are there. Interest. So whenever you are motivating, the motivating factor is you have to create interest among the public. Creating interest is most important. So you have to create interest among the public. And then evaluation, that means the person will evaluate after gaining knowledge about the prevention and control of corona. He will try to evaluate by himself. After gaining knowledge, he will try to evaluate by himself and try to modify his behavior. And finally, decision making. He will decide that from now onwards he is going to wear mask regularly. He is going to sanitize his hands regularly, and he will maintain social distance whenever he go out. So he will come out with the decision, and he will stand by the decision. He will follow the guidelines properly. So it may not be long lasting. So every time we will get motivated. Like suppose if you get if anybody gives you information on physical fitness like jogging or walking, something, swimming, like that, so you will get motivated, and by evening you will go to your you will go to the malls and get the tracksuit and then shoes. So next day you will wake up at 4:35 and you will go to the ground and you will go for 1 or 2 rounds, and in the evening also you will do the same thing. So over a period of time, maybe for 1 week or 10 days, you will do like that. After that, slowly you will say, okay, I am active. There is no need to go to ground. There is no need to do the physical activity. I can maintain my physical fitness, no problem. So slowly we will try to stop it. So decision making. So if you motivate them, If you motivate them, it may they may modify their behavior, but it may last for only short period of time. Suppose if you want to continue, suppose if that motivated person has to continue the same thing throughout his life, what you have to do is periodically you have to motivate them. So today you have given about a campaign on physical activity. So motivated some people on physical activity. Again, after 3 months, you have to check whether they are following or not, whether what are the reasons for their dropouts, why they are not doing the physical activity. Find out the reasons and try to clear their doubts. Try to clear their doubts and ask them to continue the physical activity regularly. So like that, periodically, every 3 months, if you go on like that over a period of time, like 1 year or 2 years, if you continuously motivate them, continuously monitor them and motivate them, definitely throughout life it becomes a habit for them. So throughout life they will try to continue doing physical activity. Similarly, if you stop motivating them after some point of time, definitely they will lose interest and automatically they will stop doing the things. So motivation, they may get motivated, but they may not sustain it throughout the life. So it is better periodically you try to motivate them so that they can continue their physical activity throughout their lifetime. And persuasion is nothing but it is an act of gaining friends. That is, that means suppose your close friends are there, so if you explain them about the social distancing, if you explain them about the sanitation, if you explain them about the mask, about keeping the mask, definitely you can persuade them, you can influence them, you can influence your friends very easily. So whatever you say, they will accept and they will try to follow it. So persuasion is very important. So with the help of the friends, with the help of the leaders, with the help of the gurus, so majority of the people will change their behavior and attitudes. Counseling. So counseling is also very important. It's a process that can help people understand better and deal with their problems and communicate better with those with whom they are emotionally involved. So counseling will rule out all the problems of the individual. So openly you discuss everything with them, whatever the doubts they are having or what are the doubts they are raising, you try to clear them properly. Automatically, if their doubts are clear, automatically their mind will be clear and they will change their behavior and attitudes. So counseling is an important one. Counseling is an important one for every individual who are in problems, who are in troubles, who are in who don't have the knowledge about a particular disease or particular thing. If you explain them properly, if you counsel them properly, definitely they will accept it and they will change their behavior. It depends on communication and relationship skills. So how you communicate the message to that particular individual is very important, and the relationship between the sender and the audience is also very important. So it should have relationship skills also very important. Important part of treatment, disease prevention and health promotion. So you can do counseling on anything. It may be on treatment part, it may be on disease prevention part, it may be on health promotion part, whatever it may be. Whatever message you want to send it very clearly and clear all the doubts of the audience properly. Automatically people will be interested and they will try to modify their behavior. So counseling plays an important role. And the rising morale, that is, it is the capacity of a group of people to pull consistently. So you have to motivate the people continuously. You have to motivate the people consistently so that they can follow the message or practice the message properly throughout their lifetime. Health development is a powerful tool. Organization. So in organization, communication is life and breath of an organization. So what for successful running of an organization, so communication is the life and blood of an organization. So communication is of two types: vertical and horizontal. So vertical communication means from head of the institution. So principal will give one circular, and that information will be carried from principal to the vice principal, from vice principal to the professor and HODs, from HODs to the different department associates, assistants, postgraduates, interns, and then to the medical students. So that is vertical information, that is from top to bottom. So our Anji Reddy sir will release a circular. That circular will come to the principal. It will go to CAO, and from principal to the head of the departments of all the departments in the medical college. From there, it will go to the professors, and then associate professors, assistant professors, postgraduates, then interns, and finally to the medical students. So that is called vertical communication from top to bottom. Horizontal communication means among the HODs. Suppose if there is any information that is communicated among the only HODs, among the HODs of all the departments, that is horizontal communication. So these are the different functions of the health communication. You can see information must be very simple, and it should be accessible to all the people at any point of time. They can approach them, they can read them properly, and education, it can bring about the change in the lifestyle and risk factors of the disease. So educating the people about the different good lifestyles and about the risk factors for the diseases. Motivation, so I told you how to motivate. There are 3 stages are there: interest, evaluation, and then adoption or decision making. So you create the interest among the public, automatically they will try to evaluate themselves and evaluate the message properly. They will discuss among the society about that message properly, and then afterwards they will try to adopt the message properly, and they will decide and they will follow the message whatever you have given. It may not be long lasting. And persuasion is nothing but it is the art of gaining friends. That is, you try to influence your friends about the good things. The thing is that in a society, friends will persuade for bad things. So that is the most bad thing in the society, that friends, whatever they are doing, they will try to follow blindly. Whereas in case of health communication, or the function of health communication is persuasion. That means the art of winning friends. That is, you try to modify the behavior of your friends. It is like brainwashing. Then counseling. So counseling is also one of the most important one. Counseling is also one of the most important one. It is a process that can help people understand better and deal with their problems and communicate better with those with whom they are emotionally involved. That means any problem is there, you go for counseling, explain your problem thoroughly to your communicator. He will understand your problem, try to analyze your problem, try to solve your problem, try to clarify your doubts, so that your brain will be free, and you are free from that stress. Automatically you will come out of that depression, and you will lead a normal life. So communication, so counseling in terms of communication is very, very important. It will change the behavior and attitudes of the people. And then rising moral, that is nothing but constantly you have to motivate the people so that they can attach to the message what you have sent, and so that they can perform the skills regularly. They should not stop in between. Suppose if you don't rise the moral in the society, automatically they will do that for some point of that. Organization, communication is the life and blood of an organization. That is vertical and horizontal. Vertical means from top to bottom. Horizontal means in the particular range of the society. If the information is coming, called horizontal. So with this, I am stopping. So what about the? I think almost 146 all are present. 146 participants are there. All are present. So randomly we call some numbers. You just answer. 125.
Present, sir. 125 present, sir.
100.
Present, sir. 100 present, sir.
Kavya.
Yes, yes, sir.
36. 36. Absent. Right. 83,
Present, sir. 83. Sir, 83 present, sir.
Okay, Pratyusha, you are present. 147.
Yes, sir.
Present, sir.
147.
147
Kishore
present,
Babu.
sir.
Kishore
Sir,
Babu.
36 present, sir.
154.
Yes, sir. 147 present, sir.
Yes, 147 present. 154.
Sir, 147 present, sir.
Right, 147 present. 154. Okay, thank you.